I love me some hot takes or moderate temperature takes or even cold takes. And then I evaluate with Spencer's scale of agreement. So you send them in, I evaluate and discuss here on the show. This one from Alex. Oregon will have 2 1,000-yard rushers. Well, all right. Scale of agreement, probably gonna be higher than you think. 5. I'm gonna go with 5. I think the instinct for people who have heard me do these segments before would have been to put this at like a 2 because this is incredibly difficult to accomplish. However, if there were a season where Oregon were going to pull this off, to my knowledge and statistical deep dive, this has not happened before. And by the way, I also want to correct something that I've said from the past because I was looking into it as I was getting ready for the show and realized there's a gain stat and a net stat when you take the negative rushes out. The last time Oregon didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher was not in the mid-2000s. It was 2016 when Royce Freeman came up just a little bit short. He had like 940 yards or something. But there have been a couple of seasons over the last couple decades of Oregon football where not necessarily guys have come close, but that it's not completely unfeasible to say these guys could both do it. It's a really hard thing to do. It is. You have to have a focus on running the football that is Mario Cristobal-esque, or what Penn State does with their 2 NFL running backs. It's incredibly, incredibly challenging. But the reason that I will put this at a 5 when it really on paper deserves to be less than a 5 is because of a question I got from a Locked On Ducks insider. Not specifically, but I have had this thought as well. The question is, what tweaks does Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, make with a less mobile quarterback? This is the least mobile quarterback Will Stein has worked with at Oregon. Whether it's Dante Moore or Austin Novosad, neither one of them are as capable of runners as Dylan Gabriel, who was not as good of a runner as Bo Nix. Now, Gabriel and Nix, both mobile, both guys could pull it and run. This is going to be the least involved a quarterback has been in the run game, I'd say, since Justin Herbert, probably. Remember back in 2019 when Oregon was running the ball a bunch, of course, with Mario Cristobal. But in the Pac-12 championship game against Utah, Herbert all of a sudden was given the leeway to pull it on the read option. And Utah was completely unprepared for it. And then we saw it in the Rose Bowl as well. Herbert ran for all 3 of Oregon's touchdowns. Why were they unprepared? Because they hadn't done it all season long, because Cristobal, from his time as offensive coordinator in 2017, had PTSD of running Herbert. He got injured, Braxton Burmeister went in, and disaster ensued. So that is the last time, and Herbert's not an immobile quarterback, but his legs were not a feature of the offense. I assume it's going to be Dante Moore starting. Whether it's him or Novosad, running the ball as a quarterback, not a feature of what they do. It's why I discussed on, I believe it was yesterday's show, or the day before, because yesterday was with Brian Smith. I discussed the possibility of Luke Moga seeing the field this year. I could 100% see it. In a Wildcat package situation, the way Texas used Arch Manning, the way Penn State used Bo Perbula, the way Oregon used Brian Bennett with Colt Lyerla back in the day, which looking back on it, I think was just to keep Brian Bennett from transferring because he was a great backup quarterback and I don't think it ended up working. But, you had Mariota as a starter. Not like he wasn't capable of running, but, Bennett could go out there, put his body on the line a little bit more than you want your starter to. That's why I say, Noah Whittington could have his most important season yet as a Duck. And I thought Noah was really good last year for the most part. If you recall, early in the season particularly, he did well against Oregon State. That was the only game, I think, in the first half where he showed a lot of life. And then the Purdue game happened, and he started to pop a little more. Then the Illinois game was kind of his, okay, Noah looks all right. And he was coming off an injury, so maybe he was taking his time, or it was taking him some time rather, not that he was being lackadaisical about it. He was probably needing some time to get back up to full speed, to get into the fold. But if there were a season, and this could be the case next year if Dante Moore comes back, he's not going to be out there running a bunch of read options. He's not pulling it. And, Mariota ran for, I think, at least 700 yards every year that he was Oregon's starting quarterback. Dante Moore's not doing that. I would frankly be surprised. I bet you he hits 100. I don't think Dante Moore will run for 200 yards this year. And Dillon Gabriel last year, let me pull up the stats, didn't run a ton. Not as much as, Bo Nix did from time to time. But again, Bo Nix got hurt and he didn't run as much. Gabriel actually, what do I know off the top of my head? Not much, apparently. He, wait, nope, that's not the rushing stats. Let me get there. Okay, yeah, so Gabriel only ran last year for 149 yards and 7 touchdowns. The touchdowns don't matter as much going for 1,000 yards. But again, Gabriel is more of a runner than Dante Moore is. That's not Dante's MO. It's that he's a little bigger than Dillon. He's got a bigger arm. He's, maybe got... Dillon was pretty precise with his ball placement. So if Dante can be as accurate as Dillon Gabriel was, that'd be really good. And if he can do that standing taller in the pocket and having a better arm, yeah, as a quarterback, he has a higher ceiling. Where's his floor? That's what we're going to learn once August 30th rolls around. So, yeah, I'll go with a 5. And I think this is a really important year to have Noah Whittington, who amazingly is going into his 4th year as a Duck. Doesn't feel that way, does it? Kenyon Barner had as many seasons with Oregon as Noah Whittington is about to have. Now, he got injured for one of them, so it's not a one-to-one comparison with games played. But Kenyon missed a significant amount of time in 2009 when he got knocked out of that Wazoo game and taken off on a stretcher, and he's okay, thank goodness. But yeah, I will put a 5 on Oregon as 2,000-yard rushers because there have been several seasons where Oregon's leading rusher has between 900 and 1,000 yards or in that range, and the next guy is at 750 yards. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Is it likely? No, it's really, really hard to accomplish. But I'll put that at a 5. I'll put that one at a solid 5. Love that take, Alex. Love that take.